Hello, welcome you guys. I miss you a lot still, but I'm so glad that we get to have our second ever video lesson. Happy Sunday. I'm so glad that you're here, that you're listening. To start us off, I actually have two jokes because I think that it might be a good day for a laugh. So, okay, the first one is a joke that is about a character in the Bible, okay? His name was Noah. Some of you might know the story of Noah. We talked about it one time, but okay, so here comes the joke. Which animal did Noah not trust? I'll give you a second to answer. What do you think? A cheetah! It's like a cheater. You won't trust those. He didn't trust the cheetahs. That's funny. The second joke is a joke because it's getting so nice outside and it's springtime and it's beautiful and you might be seeing more flowers outside as the days go on. And flowers are blooming. There's some trees outside of my house that are blooming and they're so beautiful. So if you need something to do, you could go on a walk and look for all the different kinds of flowers that you see. But okay, here's a joke. Why couldn't the flower ride a bike? Because it lost all its petals. That's the second one. Okay, happy spring. It's seriously so nice outside. Spend the time out there when you can and keep making the most of our time inside. I hope that your jam times have been going amazing. I hope that you have been getting to spend time with Jesus and be able to worship and pray and spend time with your families and your parents. And I hope that it's been awesome. I've loved getting to do my jam times in the morning. Like I said, I've been doing them too, and it's been awesome, like totally awesome. And I would love to hear anything that you're learning, and that's just wonderful. Yes, so keep doing those, and hopefully we'll get to see each other soon. And so yes, we're gonna do. So last week, I told you guys about how we can still worship even if we're not together and even if we don't have music and dancing. So really quick again, it's still so good to be thankful. And I know that things feel like they might be changing a lot, but it's really good to be thankful right now. So everybody shout something you're thankful for on 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm thankful for sunny days. It's been so nice outside. Awesome. I love it. Great. So keep being thankful. Like we said last time, as whenever we look at all the good things that God has done for us, it is way, way, way easier to remember that He is faithful and that He will always be close to you, always, no matter what. So, which is the story that we read last week. And we're going to go ahead and read a story again this week. So, like I said, if you have your Jesus Storybook Bible, now is a great time to get that out. If not, once again, no worries, because I got you covered right here. This story is going to be on page 214, and it's called A Little Girl and a Poor Frail Lady. And it's going to be a story that I think we can learn a lot from, and I think we can also learn a lot about what's going on in the world right now. This story, imagine that. There's a story in the Bible that Jesus was a part of that is kind of similar to what's going on right now and how we, as people who follow Jesus, can trust God, even whenever things are happening. So, okay, if you're there, awesome. If you're not, you can pause this, and then whenever you're there, play. Okay, here we go. It's called A Little Girl and a Poor Frail Lady. I'll show you the picture. There was once a little girl who didn't get out of bed one morning or the next or the next. In fact, she didn't get out of bed for a while, for a whole month. She was very sick, and no one knew how to make her better. Jairus was her daddy, and he loved her. One day, he was sitting by her bed, holding her hand, wishing there was something he could do. "I know," he said. He jumped to his feet, put on his coat, kissed his daughter, ran down the steps, past the servants, out of the house, through the gates, along the road, into the town, up the steps, and into the temple. He fought his way through all the people until, at last, he found who he was looking for. Okay, who do you think he was looking for? No. Jesus, he said. Jesus, he said, falling at Jesus' feet. "My daughter," he pleaded, "please." But he didn't need to beg, because before he'd even finished speaking, Jesus reached out his hand and helped him up. "I'll come at once," Jesus said. Jairus' eyes filled with tears. Jesus was coming. It would all be all right. In those days, of course, they didn't have ambulances, so they had to go by foot. Jesus' helpers knew that he would heal the sick girl, but they must hurry. If Jesus didn't get there soon, it would be too late. But everyone was in the way, hustling and bustling, jostling and pressing, pushing and shoving, squishing and squashing. The disciples ran ahead, forcing back the crowd. Suddenly, Jesus stopped. His friends looked back. What was he doing? "Who touched me?" Jesus asked, because he felt power go out of him. "Me," said a frail lady, looking down at the ground because she was ashamed. The poor lady had been sick for 12 years, and she had to get well. She knew if she only touched Jesus' coat, she would be healed. So she touched his coat, and instantly she was well. "We don't have time," Jesus' friend said. But Jesus always had time. Remember, we learned that last week. He always had time. He reached out his hands and gently lifted her head. He looked into her eyes and smiled. "You believed," he said, wiping a tear from her eyes, "and now you are well." Just then, Jairus' servant rushed up to Jesus. "It's too late," he said breathlessly. "Your daughter is dead." Jesus turned to Jairus. "It's not too late," Jesus said. "Trust me." Wow. At Jairus' house, everyone was crying. But Jesus said, "I'm going to wake her up." Everyone laughed at him because they knew she was dead. Jesus walked into the little girl's bedroom, and there, lying in the corner in the shadows, was the still little figure. Jesus sat on the bed and took her pale hand. "Honey," he said, "it's time to get up." And he reached down into death and gently brought the little girl back to life. The little girl woke up, rubbed her eyes as if she'd just had a good night's sleep, and leapt out of bed. Jesus threw open the shutters and sunlight flooded the dark room. "Hungry?" Jesus asked. She nodded. Jesus called to her family. "Bring this little girl some breakfast." Jesus helped and healed many people like this. He made people walk. Jesus was making the sad things come untrue. He was mending God's broken world. Wow. Here's the last picture. Amazing. Okay, that was crazy. Totally crazy. In that story, there was a girl who was sick. Or two big things happened in that story. The first thing was that there was a little girl who was sick and nobody could heal her. And so her dad knew, who's the one person that can heal her? It's Jesus. And so he ran to go get Jesus, right? And then on Jesus' way, the first thing that happened was that there was a woman who had been sick for a long time. And she knew that if she could just only touch Jesus' cloak, that she would be better. And she did, and the disciples thought, once again, like they thought about the kids last week, they thought that Jesus didn't have time, but he does, always. So Jesus had time again. He healed the woman because of her faith, because she believed that Jesus could do it, and then he kept going, and he healed a girl who had died, which is crazy. There was a girl she was a little girl, and she had passed away, and her family was so sad, and they didn't believe that anything could be better, and then Jesus showed up. And he just said, "Be well." And she was alive again. So it just shows, that story just shows the power of Jesus and how he's so powerful and how he can do anything. And with man, things are impossible, but with God, all things are possible, right? That was one of our memory verses. But Jesus can heal anyone and anything. And he is so big and he's so powerful. And that is actually has a lot to do with what's going on in our world right now, doesn't it? There's a lot of people who may be sick or may be afraid of getting sick and all those things. And so, but we know that Jesus is good and that he can heal and that he can make things better and that he can mend God's broken world, just like in the book, okay? So we're gonna do our attribute of God and our memory verse really quick, and then I'm gonna share some final thoughts, and then it's gonna be time to go, okay? So drum roll, please, again. It's time for our attribute of God. Here we go. What's it gonna be? Probably something to do with our story. It is, God is A healer. Wow. That's amazing. Yes, God is a healer, just like in the story. So God can heal broken hearts. He can heal people's hearts when they feel sad. He can bring them joy. And whenever they feel scared, he can bring them comfort. And he can heal our bodies too, right? Just like in that story, he healed a woman who had been sick for 12 years and he healed a little girl who had died. So he can totally heal, and he heals our hearts and our bodies. He's so good, okay? And so our memory verse, drum roll, awesome, is gonna be same as last week. Okay, so we've been practicing this week, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. James 4:8. And I love that verse, and I think that it's good. We like to do the verse so we can memorize it maybe more than 1 week. So, okay, everybody, now you guys lead it and I will listen. Ready? Draw near to God and he will draw near to you. James 4:8. I love it. I love it. Good job, guys. Keep memorizing that verse. Keep knowing that it's true, that whenever you choose to draw near to God, he always comes so close. So close. He's always so close to you no matter what. Awesome. Okay, so my very last thing that I want to tell you guys before it's time to go is that this week our church is going to be, we're going to be praying all together. So we're going to do on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're all going to be praying. And we're just going to be praying for all the things that have made our lives a little bit crazy and all the changes that have happened in the world in the last few weeks. And that there maybe are people who've been getting sick and people who may be afraid of getting sick, and just things that maybe are not good and are not really in God's heart for people to be hurting. And so our church is going to be praying for those things to stop. And we're going to be praying that Jesus, just like in our story, that he would heal people and that he would fix the broken things and that people would know who he is in all of the crazy, so that no matter what, Jesus is peace, right? Jesus brings us peace. So even in crazy, Jesus is the one that brings us peace. And so those are the things that we're going to be praying for. And I would love it if you guys would pray too. Maybe just once every day, maybe in your Jesus and me time, in your jam time. Some things that you can be praying for is just join us in the rest of our church. We're going to be praying and believing that remember one of our memory verses was the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. So we just believe that our prayers, that God listens, right? And he hears our prayers, doesn't he? Yes, he does. And so just like in our story, Jesus is a healer, and we believe that he can heal our country and the world and people who may be sick and hurting and who may be really afraid. And so we're going to be praying for those people, that Jesus would be just like he was in that story, to the woman who just believed that he was good and was healed, and for the little girl who was healed by Jesus. Awesome. Okay, so I'm so glad that I got to spend some time with you guys, and I hope that I get to see your faces again soon, and I hope that this week is so wonderful, and yeah, hope to hear from you, and that you have so much fun this week, and that you get to spend a lot of time outside and with your families. Okay, bye.